Hello, good evening, and YouTube Tasmagoria, or something like that.
Wow. Starting early.
Thank you, Moog. Didn't even need to ask.
I can also see and hear you okay too.
Good to know.
Thought I'd throw it in there.
Here is the shoulder of Crimson.
Hello.
It's Tuesday. It's live time. It's time for much prattling about things. Yep, it's prattle time. So, we have a super chat already from the Machine. Welcome back. Good to have you both back for a live stream.
Aww,
and then five rock-ons.
Whoa,
5 whole rock-ons.
He's a machine.
He is indeed. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, words, problems, thing. So, usual format. Bit of a chat about what's been going on in the hobby world since we were last on air. Then tonight's ramble topic, and then finish off with some questions. Now, there are some good questions in Discord. There are also some very, very silly ones. Very silly questions.
You know who you are, Moog.
So what's been going on in the world? Well, a lot of you. Is everyone on here a member so far? Oh, not quite everybody. So I have taken the decision to the background, which bit to start at? Right. Trying to keep this condensed because I've already done a video on this. Health is a problem at the moment, and I'm struggling, suffering with depression as well as anxiety, and been really struggling for the last sort of 6 months. But it's been really bad recently, and I have taken the decision to reduce what I do on the old YouTubes because members will know that I've not been putting out as much members content as I normally do, as I would like to, and that I have been putting an enormous amount of pressure on myself through that. And I've tried not to, but try as I might,
It's very trying. Just saying.
You can't draw my arms this week.
It is there.
Keep my hands further away. So, long story short, I'm not going to do members videos anymore. I'm going to keep the existing members videos there for people who want to go on and see them. If anyone does want to support me without the expectation of anything in return, they are very, very welcome to and warmly appreciated. But my videos from now on are going to go up on public YouTube. And because in my noggin, people aren't paying for that puts less pressure on me. I can just put up what I want when I want to, which makes it a hobby again, rather than feeling like an obligation, which is where it was getting to. And it was messing with my mental health. So something I had to give. Can't give up the day job. Need to pay the bills. And this evening job doesn't pay the bills. So I have stopped doing that, and I'll be putting everything on public YouTube. And hopefully that will mean there's a sort of net increase for a net benefit for everyone, because everyone who wants to see it all for free can see it all for free, and more people will get to see it. And So that's where I'm at. Done. What else have I done? I've done. Oh, we've got a members chat. Kevin Cadvar for 25 months. Really glad you're back on again. Sunglasses or Coolio. Thank you very much, Kevin, sir. Yeah, so just chilling out a little bit. I hope I pronounced this correctly. Hosu Arolia. Hi, Paul. Are you planning to play Horus Heresy? Not in the immediate future. A new system to paint, new models to paint, new system to learn. I'm not ruling it out, but I've no plans in the short term. So, trying to think what else I've done hobby-wise. Been building a lot of things. Finished building a whole bunch of Cities of Sigmar. I do feel like doing another ramble about Cities of Sigmar. I know I've done one in the past, but I've learned a lot more about it since I did that ramble, so I may choose that as a topic for another one. And what else have I? Nights the day before. Reviews and stuff. Can't think of much else. Obviously, we had Paul Fest, and that was great fun for everyone who went. It was a great day. We had a surprise visit from Winters. Well, it was a surprise to everyone who wasn't me. I knew who was coming.
Oh, me.
You knew he was going.
I know, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It wasn't a surprise. I asked him.
Yeah.
I did ask him.
You did? It's
I
true.
said, come along. It's really fun.
And he said, all right.
And he said, all right then, put it in my diary. So we did.
And then he turned up.
I know.
So
more surprise.
That was a good day. Someone who's been doing a lot more hobby than me over the last few weeks is Crimson. What?
I have.
What have you been? Why don't you tell folks about what you've been doing the last couple of weeks?
Oh well, gosh, absolutely loads of building. So and I struggle with the names of things. So you're probably better off doing that. But I did a whole heap of spiders, and then a massive spider. An arachnoid?
Very close. An arachnorok spider.
One of those.
And some spider fan riders.
So I did that. And then I did some orcs. Did I do orcs? What did I do? I did the giants, didn't I?
Yep. The gargoyles I think we've talked about previously.
Yeah, you say what I did because you're much better than that.
I might forget stuff. You did a whole bunch of endless spells. You did the Stormcast endless spells and Malign sorcery endless spells. You Dankhold Troggoth, Helm Gates. You did some grots, some gloom, which you also started painting.
Yeah, I started painting the grots, and I've inherited from Neve quite a lot of Skaven, so I am painting those at the moment, and the grots.
Have you had a go at those? Have you in the background?
Yeah. So I am on with those. There's quite a few more grots to make and paint to get where you would like to be. And then I put together something that I really enjoyed. The moon.
The Loon Shrine.
The Loon Shrine. Oh, that is so pretty. That is very pretty. So I put that together as well, which I thought was really pretty.
Carved out of a meteorite.
Yeah.
Of the Loon Moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I'm meaning the moon. The moon with the I did that as well, but I'm the moon with the moon back to back.
Yes, so story wise.
Right, okay.
When the Gloomspite moon is full and it's at its peak, it spits a meteorite down that lands in the realm, and the grots come along and they carve it into the Loon Shrine. and then they start to worship it and congregate around it, and that's why it's a piece of terrain you can have on the tabletop.
Spiky.
Very spiky, lots of
Very
shrooms.
spiky. And I also made the Nash. Oh, what is it? The Nashing.
I can't remember the net. It's one of the malign sorcery endless spells. It's basically
Yeah.
a floaty gob that goes. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, like a very, very, very nasty Pac-Man.
Yes.
So I've done that, and I've also been Googling how to paint that, so I'm getting quite excited about painting that. Yeah, loads and absolutely loads of things. In fact, I had a box full. So yeah.
You still do. You're churning through it at a great note. Oh, Moog has super chatted. Paul, have you got Crimson some Tamiya extra thin cement yet? Forcing her to work with super glue at Portfest, you absolute monster. No. Both Crimson and I prefer super glue because it means you can correct your mistakes.
I've never used the cement though, and Moog swears that it's really good.
What the super glue does is it sort of bonds things together, but it's only as strong as the bond, so they can break and snap. What the super glue does is it melts both pieces of plastic, and then when they set, they become one. Now, what that means is you can't take it off once you've done it.
So if I make a mistake, okay, you can't take it off.
You can't take it off, and that's the reason.
Is there anything that melts it?
A saw. You've got to take a saw to it.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's why I've never been a fan of plastic glue, because, especially with when it's kind of future-proofing my models, because when things change between editions, and you're like, right, I need to snap that arm off and put a new arm on because they can no longer have two pistols or whatever it might be. I like to be able to change and adapt.
But what happened at Polfest is my glue leaked, and it leaked all down my hand, and then it made it look like it had got scales on my hand. And that's when Moo came over and went, "What are you doing?" I'm like, yeah, well, yeah. So that's why I was using the super glue. But I wondered about the cement because I never know, because I've only ever used super glue. So
I'm going to take your job for a minute. So we have a members chat from Big Bad Peter Gaming who asks, Crimson, what are your favourite armies?
What are my favourite armies? They've always been Demonettes. It's always been Slanesh. It's always been Demonettes. But I'm kind of branching out a little bit into the what did you buy me from Element Games? Bought me a little present. The little red ones. What are they called?
Oh, they're Gloomspike. They're Gloomspike gifts.
I love those. I absolutely love them, and taking a lot of sort of joy in putting those together. They do make me smile.
So we're kind of doing. So
it's always chaos. It's always got to be chaos.
No, Gloomspike gets a destruction.
That's what I was just going to say. But actually now, I've really enjoyed putting those together. I've done some of those as well, by the way. So yeah.
And interesting.
And spiders. I like the spiders.
You like the Daughters of Cain as well, with the snake elves and the witch elves. Now they're not chaos. They are order. They're goodies, kind of.
Yeah. So like I was saying, it's always been chaos, but now I'm branching out a bit.
Well, with the Gloomspike gifts, we're kind of doing those between us, aren't we?
Because you've got some and I've got some.
Yeah, we've got some existing ones, so we're sort of doing them as a collective, aren't we, to beef up that army?
Yeah.
And that's going to feature in the Siege of Excelsis, which is still a campaign I'm planning on doing. But it's going to be like a dozen parts and spread over like a year. And I've got the first few parts planned in my head. I just need to book in the games and get them played. But there's no rush for those because there's a bunch of us doing some more filming for 40k in a few weeks, and that'll give me a stash, and that'll last me a while. So I'm not under the pressure I used to be, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. And we're doing a lot of it together as well, which is quite nice, isn't it? So in answer to your question, I guess it's got to be at the moment, it's the spiders and the
Gloomspike Gits is the name of the army.
Yeah.
Spiders and Squigs are the ones that you'll...
Yeah.
Have you seen... So GW announced yesterday the army boxes for Christmas.
Oh no, I've not.
Well, one of them is called a squigger lunch, which is just a box of all the red squigs with the big gnashy teeth.
Yeah. Hold the line. Commander Russell, hold the line.
Commander Baneblade.
Oh, sorry, Commander. Oh, yes, Commander. I don't know what that means.
I do not know either.
So, yeah, but thank you for the question. I really appreciate that. I was looking at it then and thought, oh, that's one for me. Thank you.
So is that everything that you've been doing hobby-wise?
Yes. I've also been looking at maybe... We're very different people. Sorry. I just took a quick glance at it. I was so excited that they were a question for me.
You saw the word commander, didn't you?
Yeah. And I was so excited that it were a question aimed at me, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. So I've also been looking at. I didn't know what we would do if we were all sort of thinking of doing anything for Christmas. So we're just looking at Bugman's earlier on at Warhammer World, and they've got a Christmas menu, not Christmas, like before Christmas. I wondered whether anybody was interested in sort of going to Warhammer and meeting up and having a bit of a Christmas sort of food and a laugh and maybe a couple of games.
Run around the museum like lunatics.
Yeah, over the museum as we nearly did. Yes, just sort of one.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know how much chatter we'll get on here about that, but I'm sure. I'm sure in Discord that could be a.
Yeah, so we're just wondering what everyone thought and whether we do it in January and do it after Christmas.
Imagine you've got a book.
I've not looked into it. That I thought if we are interested and we do want to give it a whirl, I thought then I would look into it a little bit more.
Works for me.
Silly hats and Hawaiian shirts.
Stop trying to make them a thing. It's like the hot tub. It's not a thing. Stop it.
Oh, hot tub's gone into hibernation.
Yes, because the price of running it goes about threefold in the winter because the temperature differential. You know, when we had that heat wave and it reached 40 degrees, the heater wasn't even on in the hot tub. But when it's 4 degrees outside, it's trying to increase it by 36 degrees. It burns a lot of dinosaurs.
Yeah, we'd need to book tables if we were going to have a game. Commander Autism, you're absolutely right, we would. And no one needs an excuse to go to Warhammer World.
Well, quite. Can I just check if other people can still hear the audio? I've just seen Moog saying the audio's dropped out for him. Are other people still all right? Give the international symbol for distress if not. Oh, I can't see you. That's not going to work. Sorry, it's the custard talking. Custard.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Okay.
A bit choppy.
Okay, good. Had a blip, but you're back. Okay.
Oh, that's good. So, yeah, so we'll talk about it in Discord.
Right. It seems to be up and down for everyone. Let me see if we're having any kind of...
Wheels of Death. Oh, God.
Let's see if we're having any kind of glitch.
Custard. Yeah, we had... I cooked tonight and we had... spaghetti bolognese and
not with custard.
Not with custard. No, we saved that for the fish fingers. And then we had jam roly-poly and custard. It was very nice. And then we both wondered how we were going to get upstairs because we ate far too much. So like, oh, I can't move. Yeah, but we had custard. Press on.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to start the actual ramble. I mean, we're 20 minutes in. We've done the pre-ramble or preamble. Preamble. Yeah, okay. So here we have Here we have Ogor Mawtribes, kindly sent to me by GW free of charge for your reviewing pleasure. I didn't review this one. I didn't do a Battletome review. I was I was having depression-y issues last week. I only managed to get the one book reviewed, and I chose that. I thought I'd do the Slaves to Darkness one, but I thought this would be worth a good old ramble on a Tuesday. So I can't really comment on how different this is to the previous edition. I can only comment on how different it is to Ogre Kingdoms and Fantasy Battle before Fantasy Battle was killed off. So there's going to be a few paradigmy things here and a few bits that aren't new, but well. So we've got. Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? I do love the text at the beginning. Oh God, this is really long. This one, so get comfy. The realms are filled with hazards of every conceivable kind, but to the ogre race, they are a glorious banquet that spreads from horizon to horizon. Every plain, valley, and mountain is seen in terms of what fodder it can provide, and little else. To the Mawtribes, every clan, people, and nation is a source of nourishment waiting to be consumed. The thinling races look upon these ever-hungering brutes as monsters, saying that if they could, the ogres would eat the world. But the ogres are more than simple ravenous beasts. Everywhere across the realms, the law is the same. Only the strong survive, and the ogres have strength in great measure. They batter the hulking, monstrous beasts of the wild into submission, riding them to war or using them to draw their wagons. Unlike the Troggoth or the Bulgur, the ogre race can create as well as destroy, and the things they create most readily are the tools of war. These are monsters with the craft of men. They make crude but effective weapons, their stout and clumsy fingers dexterous enough to rivet plates of metal to their clubs or fashion heavy scimitars that can hack a rhinox in two. The battered shields of their slain enemies are strapped over their muscled limbs, and gut plates the size of wagon wheels take pride of place on their bulging oak-hard bellies. Even black powder weaponry is not beyond them, to which the shattered and fearful survivors of their cannonades can attest. A tribe of ogres is a living avalanche on the charge, their beasts of war thundering alongside them, even as their snickering Noblar attendants are swept along for the ride. They are a Castellan's worst nightmare, for they will batter down the walls with artillery, great club, and even their own pounding fists, reveling in the carnage before eating the cowering defenders in an orgiastic display of raw gluttony. Truly, the ogre is the enemy of all that is beautiful and good. They are the ugliness of the realm's natural order made manifest. In the era of the beast, they surge across the lands with ever greater vigour, their unholy appetites sent into overdrive by the thumping animalistic hunger of the realms themselves. They have learnt to barter, bargain, even fight for reward, but only a fool puts their faith in civilized ogres for long. To them, today's ally is no more than tomorrow's meal. It is the truth that all must learn in time. To underestimate the ogre is to be devoured. I don't know why, but I feel a strange affinity for the ogres. No comments, please. Okay, so yeah, it's got
Cheery.
Oh yes. Flavor text on, well, basically a retelling of what I just said on slightly more civilized pages. The Moor path is around the sort of migratory patterns that the ogre tribes move along in order to eat stuff. And there's a nice big, there's an example, the march of the meat fist, which shows the path of the Mawtribe, and they go on their path, they eat stuff, then they go back home for a massive feast, and then they do it again, but they need to go further out because more and more people have been eaten, more and more things have been eaten, so they have to go further out, further out, further out, and further out. And some of these more paths take a very long time, and they are infrequently back at Ogor HQ. Okay, then you've sort of got subtypes of ogres. You've got the you've got the phenomenon of the Everwinter, and they are the Everwinter. I can't quite remember the narrative of where this comes about. I think this is to do with the Frost King chasing them, because wherever the Beastclaw Raiders settle, the frost encroaches on them. If they stay in one place for too long, they freeze as the Everwinter catches them. So the Beastclaw Raiders are always moving. Then it talks about the era of the beast and what happened in the wake of Kragnos and the Great Stomp, and the Ogor's belief in the Gulp Gorkamorka, that they act as mercenaries. We pattern the picture we have is of Gur, and it talks about the not Meathist, what are they called? I just said what they were called. Come on, brain. Moorpaths. The various Moorpaths in Gur. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the map from some of the great Ogor holds. Which cool. Then we've got all the little vignettes, bits from the Age of Myth, Age of Chaos, Age of Sigmar, and then get some more references to the Siege of Excelsis and the part that they played in it. Nasty little ogres, duplicitous, easy for you to say. Then we've got a double page on the hierarchy of the Tarkan, which is the Tarkan is a specific war glut, but it's a sample of one of the war gluts. It has sort of the tyrant and the iron guts as sitting at the top. Then it's subdivided into camp followers, gormand, butcher bands, and outsiders. So examples of the camp followers are gorges, which are sort of feral, distended ogres that follow the camp around, and noblars. The gormand is the slaughter master and effectively his retinue of gluttons, lead belchers, iron guts. Butcher bands, similar, but butchers, not slaughter masters. And then the outsiders. So you've got man-eaters who have been mercenaries and are just kicking around with this war glut for a particular time. Fire bellies and the blood pelt hunters. The fire bellies are wandering shamans of the Sun Eater. They don't stay with one tribe for long. Equally, the hunters, they often scout. They often scout and don't tend to stay with the war glut. Then it talks about the Beastclaw Alfrostons. So they are broken up into different arms, and the majority of the arms vary from time to time based on who is or isn't in favour in the war glut. But they consist of the Yorbad, which is the fighting hand, which is the tribe's most celebrated warriors. After the Yorbad, you've got the Earlbad, which is the eating hand, which is as important. It's no less important, but it's a different role. they follow the fighting hand and mop up and acquire the victuals. Then is the Torband. Now the Torband is the Huskard Tor is one who stays, who sort of that role never changes. That's the sort of frost priest, for want of a better phrase, and his retinue consists largely of things like thunder tusks and yetis and so on. So that's kind of that arrangement. The fighting hand and the eating hand are pretty similar, but the spiritual side of it is a bit different. Then we've got information on the various tribes of infamy. So your sub-factions. There's the Meat Fist Moor tribe, the Blood Gullet Moor tribe, Underguts Moor tribe, Boulder Head Moor tribe, Thunderbellies Moor tribe, Winterbite Moor tribe. Then, as with most of the destruction books, we've got a double-page spread on Krakenos with a sinister picture. Then we come to the section where they start to talk the roles of the various individuals. A little bit about butchers. What are butchers? What are slaughtermasters? Talks about big names and big reputations. So a big name is like the equivalent, stats wise, it's like the equivalent of a relic for an ogre. You give it a big name, it gets stats. But so you might give it might be called Paul the Smasher, and they gain stats about how to smash things, whatever they may be. But as in character, as it were, they're really good at smashing things. So the other ogres call him Paul the Big Smasher. So that's kind of the way around that's meant. Tribe, again, the Gluttons, the Iron Gut Noblars, talking about who they are, what they are, their role. And again, going through Lead Belchers, Iron Blasters, Noblars, Scrap Launchers. Then on into Blood Pale Hunters, Firebells, Man-Eaters, Gorges. Basically, they all have... there's a section describing all of them. So you can get a feel for what the various units are and how they operate, narratively speaking. Then we have loads and loads of inadvertent click of mouse. Lots of really cool pictures. Fighting all sorts of different things, from ghouls to direwolves to dinosaurs to Ossiarch Bone Reapers. What are these ones? Corn Demons. Yeah, then we've got the painting side of things. We've got generic skin tones. Then we've got various different... We've got some dark skin tones. We've also got some sort of rotting skin tones, because a lot of the earlier ogres... a lot of the earlier ogres have a sort of very pallid, sickly type hue to them. That was part of the original Ogre Kingdoms thing, which kind of got left behind. Different techniques for painting various cloths, gut plates, and such. Okay. So now we are into the rules. So, the Moor tribes are sub-factions that you get to pick. Ravenous Brutes. I know this isn't new, but I don't know if the way it's executed is new. Ogres are either hungry or they're eating. If they're more than 3 inches from enemy units, they're hungry, in which case they get an extra 2-inch move. If they are within 3 inches, they are eating, at which point they get +2 bravery. So they're either having a meal and not going to run away and leave it, or they're running after a meal, in which case it's Benny Hill time and they're really super quick. Gulping Bites doesn't ring a bell. At the end of the combat phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any friendly Gutbusters Ogre unit. On a 4+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. So just a random additional D3 mortal wounds per turn for units that are in range, as after they're fighting, they might just find the enemy's arm nearby and decide to take a bite out of it. Not sure about that. Might Makes Right is a game mechanic for how many models each how many models things count as when they're on objectives. Regular ogres are 2, ogre heroes are 5, ogre monsters are 10. Then Trampling Charge. After a friendly ogre or rhinox unit makes a charge move, pick an enemy unit within an inch. Roll the number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll for that charge move. Add 1 if the ogre unit has more than 3 models. Add 2 if it's a monster. So that is potentially a mortal, as the ogre's just slamming. You know, you roll an average 7, you're rolling 7 dice. And 5s and 6s in that scenario are going to do mortal wounds. It's going to add up across the board. I guess it depends what you're fighting as to whether it's really going to make much difference. If you're slamming into clan rats and squishing a couple of them, not necessarily a big deal. If you're barreling into Stormcast Eternals and you knock 2 of them over, that's some pretty good going. Then the Grasp of the Everwinter. Start the hero phase. Roll a dice for each enemy unit that's within 3 inches of Beastclaw Raider units. If it's less than or equal to the current battle round, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So the later in the game it is, and you're near Beastclaw Raiders, the more likely you are to get really quite cold. But now these are the bits I really quite like. I say the bits. There's lots of stuff I quite like. There's 2 new monstrous rampages. One is for a Stonehorn, one is for a Thundertusk. Unstoppable Charge is the Stonehorn one. Yes, okay. So monstrous rampages, of course, occur at the end of the charge phase. So the unit makes a 3d6 move and can pass across enemy units in the same manner as a unit that can fly. It must finish its move within 3 inches of enemy units. At the end of the move, roll a dice for each unit passed across. On a 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So it basically puts its head down, waggles its horns about, and just legs it. And it gets further and further and further, stops at some point. It's got to stop and have a fight. But anything it's bashed its way between in the interim can take mortal wounds, which I kind of like. And then the Thundertusks can use the Chill of the Everwinter. Only if the Thundertusk has made a charge move can it use this rampage. Roll a dice for each enemy unit within an inch of it. On a 3+, the strike's last effect applies to that unit until the end of the following phase. So if you've charged any you can get within range of a few units, or if you're using the Alfro stun, if you're using the spirit one, the spiritual hunter, and you're using Thundertusks as I think you can use Thundertusks as a battle line, then yeah, nice. Okay, so enhancements. a split between Gutbusters and Beast Claws. So the Gutbuster hero, the reluctant rabble rouser, Noblar units with 18 inches can ignore Battle Shock. Okay. Gastromancer, butcher only. The general knows all of the spells from the lore of gut magic. Ah, nice. Deadly aim, blood peltons only. The hit characteristic of his weapons become 2+. Killer reputation, tyrant only. You can pick an additional big name for them. Cannot be the same as their first big name. Former mercenary. If your general has this command trait, friendly man-eaters have the battlefield role. In addition, roll a dice for each friendly man-eater unit that's eating. On a 3+, you receive a command point that can only be used by that man-eater unit. So ex-mercenaries, if you're going man-eater heavy, there's not a great model range for man-eaters. There's 2 or 3 that I think look reasonable. A lot of the others look really silly. Sufficiently so that they would break my immersion to use them. There's a few that are all right, but not enough to do an army with. Then the traits for the Beast Claw. The Voice of the Avalanche can issue commands to friendly units in the battlefield instead of only those within 18 inches. And once a battle can issue a command without a command point being spread. I like that. Voice of the Avalanche. Beastmaster, Stonehorn and Thundertusk hero only. Once per battle, when they're picked up, you can say they're going to dig in their heels. Until the end of the phase, you use the top row, no matter how many wounds they've suffered. Touch of the Everwinter. The general has the priest keyword. If the general is already a priest, they know all the prayers from the Everwinter prayer scripture, in addition to any other prayers they know. I like that. Skull Packmaster, Icebow Hunter only. When you use the general's Master of Ambush ability, up to 3 Frost Saber units can join the general in ambush. I guess that'll make sense a little way down the line. Okay, gonna gloss over the artifacts of power. The spell laws. Blood Feast. Pick an ogre unit that's not a monster. Add 1 to the attack characteristic. Blubber Grub Stench. Friendly Rhinox units are treated as monsters for the purposes of the Trampling Charge trait. Contesting objectives and carrying out monstrous rampages. Molten Entrails. 1 friendly monster unit within range invisible to the caster until the start of the next hero phase. Add 1 to damage characteristic. You're creeping. You're invisible. Invisible.
I'm creeping back in. Thank you. Did you see my note?
No.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you left me a note. Yeah.
Going for a wee.
People were wondering where you were. I didn't see your note.
Did you see my note?
No.
I didn't want to stop you in full flow.
Well, and we didn't want you to be in the same. I mean, I inferred you'd gone for a week because I heard the bathroom door.
Yeah, and then I was stroking Lemmy, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Having a little Lemmy touch.
Okay. Yeah, Lord of the Sun. I think I was in the middle of one there, but no. I don't necessarily know that I have a thread to lose, you see.
Oh, right, okay.
The Lore of the Sun Eater, Firebelly units only. Fiery Whirlwind. If cast to pick an enemy model in range, it's a mortal wound 1. The Billowing Ash, pick an enemy unit, it's a -2 to hit 1. The Tongues of Flame is another mortal wound output. Then prayer scriptures, Everwinter prayers. Now you see, there's only 3 of these here, so The fact that they know you've got a thing that lets you know all the fact that there's a command trait that lets you know all the prayers isn't a massive deal because it only gives you 2 extras, but not like 6.
That does look cool. The underguts. Have you just been talking about that?
The underguts.
No, Moog's just put like a
link.
A link on.
All right.
Good. For Element Games. Just wondered if that's what you were. We went to Element Games, didn't we?
We did. We did go to Element Games.
We did go to Element Games. Yeah. Yeah. Enough said.
They definitely haven't been to the GW school of being helpful.
Being helpful, having a personality, saying thank you, being welcoming, all the above, really. I think it's all summed up in customer services.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't really very nice. So Warhammer all the way.
So, going on to mount traits. There are traits for Stonehorns and traits for Thunder Tusks. Stonehorns, Metal Cruncher. Picking this belligerent charger of less than 77 for the purposes of trampling around. Rockmane Elder, subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks that target the unit. Then the Thunder Tusk, Flesh Greed. If this unit is eating, you can heal D3 wounds on it. Nice. Rime-Frost Hide, ward save of 5+. Matriarch, add 1 to charge rolls for friendly Thunder Tusk units within 12 inches. Interesting. So, the Mawtribes. The Meat Fist Mawtribe, they get Fleshy Stampede. Add 1 to each roll for the Trampling Charge battle trait, so they're going to do more mortal wounds when they charge. The Blood Gullet Mawtribe. Now, these are the ones that I think I will use more often than not because their symbol looks like the symbol I've got painted on the backs of my Ogors. Heralds of the Gulping God. Butchers know 1 extra spell and can attempt to cast 1 extra spell. Underguts Mawtribe. Shrapnel Powder. Improve the rank characteristic of missile weapons by lead belchers and iron blasters by 1. The Boulderhead Mawtribe. Fearsome Breed. Add 2 to the wounds characteristic of Stonehorn and Thunder Tusks. And you can pick 3 models to have a mount trait instead of just 1. Thunderbelly's Mawtribe. Swift Outflank. Mournfang packs can run and still charge later in the turn. And then Winter Bite Mawtribe. Ghost of the Blizzard. -1 to hit rolls with missile weapons that target Winter Bite units that are within your territory. Friendly Frost Sabers, Icebow Hunters, and Yetis are not visible to enemy models more than 12 inches away. That's nice. As a Cruel Boys player, I know how effective that can be. And that's it for the traits. So we've got the Path to Glory stuff. And then we're on to Warscrolls. I'm going to look at the Blood Pelt Hunter, I think. I'm not going to do much with the Warscrolls, I don't think, because we're coming towards time. If there's interest in going through the Warscrolls, drop us a note in Discord or as a comment on this, and we can maybe do those in another session. But But the Blood Pet Hunter is the new one. So this one is 8 wounds, 5+ save. Has the Skull Shatter Crossbow, 18 inch range, 2 attacks, 4+3 +(-1) D3 damage. That's quite good for an armor that doesn't have a huge amount of range. Impaling Spear, 12 inches, 1 attack, 4+2 +(-2) D6 damage. That is a Mahosive Spear. Then melee weapon, Hacker Axe and Meat Blade, 5 attacks, 3+3 +(-1) 2. Nice. Hidden Predator, not visible to enemy units whilst it's in cover. Unrelenting Hunter, at the end of your opponent's movement phase, if this unit is more than 9 inches from all enemy units, it can make a normal move. It's move 6. Beast Breaker. If the target is a monster, the damage characteristic of the Skull Shatter Crossbow is 3, and the damage characteristic of the Impaling Spear is 6. So changing the random to not random. Whoa. Nice. I'm pretty sure that was the only new model in the book. Yes, it is. So that's that half of the book. I can see I've managed to whittle down an audience in the 20s down to 16.
I'm just telling everybody about the road man, the element game.
It's not showing up on my feed. It looks like
it's going all. Look at it all. It's going all like. I wonder if that's because it's like a little novel. Because I started to harp on a bit then.
Like the rude person. Yes.
Yeah. He was incredibly rude.
He was.
Yeah, he sat down at the side of me. I went to get a drink and he sat down at the side of me and said how boring the game was and how all these people that were playing were sad and that his son were costing him a fortune in this game. And he was horrible to the little boy, wasn't he? So I just explained that door over there with the exit sign on it is probably his next port of call, really, if he's not that happy. So all in all, it was very, very difficult. We ought to have gone to Nottingham one because they're saying that the Nottingham one staff are lovely.
Well, my memories of having been there before were very much more positive.
I know. I nearly did I was trying very hard to keep my cool. On the other hand, Paul walked in, sensed the problem immediately because I were just, well, you can imagine, can't you, defending absolutely everybody I knew, all saying, it's not on, and you came in, didn't you, and sat down and started to look a bit like a serial killer. Yeah, that was not the face he was doing. No. Oh, Murph. Oh yeah, we tried it, didn't we? We tried it, and it wasn't what we thought. So.
Well, the last time I was there was on a deployment zone open day, and I had much more of a party atmosphere, and yeah. Anyway. Did we get any questions come through?
If you want to pop into Discord, or do you want me to?
No, Discord, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to filter some of these, or I might just read them out and then give you the look for some of them.
Yeah, like he gave the man the look.
Okay, so. Sorcerer Dave, following from the recent hobby vlog, my question is, if you were a Gargant, what would your packed lunch consist of? Well, so it's got to be a barrel of Bugmans. That's obviously the drink. Excuse me. And so it's really based on what I've seen so far. There are 4 choices. There's a human, a bag of halflings, a cow, and a goat. I would probably say the cow, less likely to stab me, not going to talk back, and less unruly. So yes, it would be a cow and a barrel of Bugmans, I think, if I were a Gargant. It did occur to me that looking at the proportions of the Gargant, I think I could pull off fancy dress as a man-eater Gargant.
Is that the ones that I put together?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You haven't got the knees for it, though.
Okay.
The knees worry me.
Well, that's what prosthetics are for.
Yeah.
You can paint on dodgy knees.
Or a pair of leggings. You might get one with a pair of pink leggings on next. Or not.
So, question from Moog. Given that most of the leaks these days probably come from sources other than the reviewer program, how can GW put a stop to them, assuming they want to put a stop to them and it isn't purely performative on their part? I honestly don't know. All I can say is the conversation, as part of the reviewer program, when there have been leaks, I am distinctly under the impression that these are not intentional leaks on the GW's part. They are an annoyance to them. I don't know. I don't know how they could. Well, I mean, they could not send anyone any actual samples, and they could only send them individually beforehand. That would is a lot of effort. I don't know. They clearly don't like it, and the effort to which they're prepared to go. I just don't know. It's also difficult, I guess, because they send out models as well as rule books, and the build instructions for the models all have an element of the rules in them. So I don't know. Okay, so Moog says, "How is an Ogor different to a Warhammer world that was Ogor?" They're kind of different in so much as the concept is different. The Ogors in the world that was were cursed to never ever feel satiated, no matter how much they ate. And that's why they were always hungry, but always eating. That's why they became so horrendously swollen and fat, because they could never satiate their hunger. I've not seen any evidence of that particular aspect in AOS. The Ogors they eat for the joy of it and to worship the gulping god. So that's, I think, the primary difference. Then I'll read these out, but when did they make the switch? Is it like a teeny goth decided they want to be called Raven now, but spelling it with a Y because being called Raven just isn't interesting enough? The Ravens and Ravens quoth never mire. Thanks, Moog.
Moog, you've let yourself down.
It's like the inflatable boy taking a pin to the inflatable school.
Yeah.
Let the whole school down. Immortan Joe, question for you both. So this is for both of us. So,
okay.
Which model are you most excited to paint and then play or see on the tabletop?
Oh, that's easy for me.
Go.
That's my this names again. It's the moon one.
The Loon Shrine.
The Loon Shrine. It's that one for me. I can't wait. And I really like it because of there's the red and white bits on it, isn't that nice?
Are you painting the Loon Shrine or am I painting the Loon Shrine?
Oh, I don't know. Have you started doing it?
No, not at all.
I'd like to do it. But I'm also excited to paint the really nasty Pac-Man.
Oh yeah, the gnashing endless spell.
I've been watching loads of tutorials on it, and I think I could do it.
Cool.
I'm better at putting together than I am painting.
All it is practice. I keep saying this. It's practice
Getting
and
really
confidence.
good at the putting together and getting very quick at it and quite good at it. So, but yeah.
Okay, for me, am I most excited to paint? I'm kind of looking forward to painting spiders, I have to say. But they haven't made it to my painting desk yet.
They're ready, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are ready.
They're ready.
Yeah,
They're
they're
totally ready. They're totally ready.
And I loved those. If anyone's got any of those, I'm happy to put those together if you bring them to Paul's weekend after next. I am. I'm happy to put those together. I could have done those in a weekend.
Stop inviting the globe to the house.
Anybody that's come in.
No.
I meant anyone that's come in.
That's like
Other
4 people.
Can post it. Sorry. But I am happy to help anyone that needs anything putting together. I really am.
Moog asks, what was the Warhammer world that was actually called? I don't know that it had a name. Why would it be Raven and not Raven? Paladin Wiggles, you're encouraging Moog. Bad Paladin Wiggles, bad. Then we've got Moog.
Oh God!
Then we've got Moog again. Did the Warhammer world that was dye its hair black and purple and change its name to Weirhammer world that was slaves to darkness clearly need more umlauts to be more metal? Where would the umlauts go? Then Mick the Machine asks, if there is no silicon heaven, where do all the calculators go? Calculators just die. Does or does not Cadia stand? Asked Salastar. Well, no, it blew up. Abaddon threw a Blackstone fortress at it and it went boom. I mean, you might say the spirit of Cadia, but Moog asks,
Moog is on fire.
are you excited to see the return of less vanilla guard regiments? Ask me that one again next week. Is it time that Catechins grew up and put a shirt on?
No.
Right, so Hammerlock, Loyal Guardsman, asks, if you could only make new models for one guard regiment, not Cadian, what regiment would it be and what sets it apart from the rest? It's tricky, that one, because I was very fond of a lot of the old Metal Guard from Second Ed. So I could easily say Talon, I could easily say Valhalla. After all the books, I could easily say the Tanith First and Only. But I'm listening again to the Caiaphas Cain series for probably the dozenth time. So I've got to say Valhallans. I like the idea of the thing I like about them from an aesthetic point of view is they're just like normal guardsmen with coats on. It's just a bit different. It's not particularly interesting, but I do like that. And then Mick the Machine has asked, when do we find out what was under the cup in the latest hobby vlog? You see, when I filmed that, I thought I was going to be putting it out very soon afterwards. So and it would have been before the date I could show that particular model. It was the Ogor Mawtribes Blood Pelt Hunter. But as you'll have seen, that only went up for pre-order on Saturday. So like 3-4 weeks ago, I couldn't have shown that. So I sort of thought, how do I get this off the thing? And then I just like, cup. And that's all the questions and Moog's Edinburgh show script.
Moog.
Do we have any other questions that have come up during the chat, or are we on to thank users?
You realise that you didn't need anything under the cup
To generate the interest, right? No, I didn't realise that, but it's a very good point. I don't do clever gimmicks because I'm not clever.
I want to put something under the cup next time.
Well, okay, you can film some hobby vlog and find the cup and put
it
something
under the cup.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah. Okay, thank yous, Mick the Machine, for his super chat. Thank you very much. Kevin used his 25 months comment, and I don't. Is it Jose?
I don't know.
17 months. Moog, 25 months membership, and we feel every day of that, don't we? And Big Bad Peter, thank you for your question. Thank you very much. And he used his membership for that as well. Very nice of him. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Big thank you to Crimson for the for corralling you all and capturing questions and doing her usual star act and being involved today, and
yes.
and talking hobby shtick. Booyah!
Oh, Mick, just before we finish, Mick wanted to use his 25-month one.
25 months. Thanks, Mick.
Oh.
Anything else that you can think of? In which case, folks, we will see you in the next. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.